Hello my friends, today we're learning Bobe Basra Daf Peiches. So we're going to start about 9 lines down. Gufa, we just learned, Omar Shmuel said, Anoitir Keli Mina Uman, someone takes a finished item from the artist who made it, Bebarkroi, to check it out and to see if he wants to buy it or not. Venenas Biyodaya, and oinus happened when it was in his hands while he was checking it out. Chayev, he needs to pay for the item. Said the Gemara, V'ani million, that's only talking about who the Kitzi Domer, when it has a fixed price to this item. Au Gavra, Ta'ale Beitapcha. This person went to the meat store, the person who sells the meat. Agba Atma de Bisro, he picked up a leg or piece of meat to check it out to see if he wants to buy it or not. But Agba, while he was holding it in his hand, also Parsha, Murmurmine, came a guy on a horse, grabbed off him and rode off. So whose loss is it? Did the owner of the shop lose or the one who picked it up in the hand, the customer? So the Gemara also like this case came in front of Rav Yeima. He told him you need to pay the value. V'ani million, that's only the Kitzi Domel, the fixed price for this piece of meat. Only then we say that it's already, there's no negotiations still need to be done. So once he picked it up, it's Muach Rayis. And the Rashbam explains it's almost something that's easy to sell, and that's why if I'm selling it to you, to the customer, so it's a benefit for him. So for that and all, I'm willing to sell it to you, he becomes a shoyal on it. Au Gavra, this person, the icy curry, he brought pumpkins, the Pumnara, to the place called Pumnara. Also Kule Alma, everyone came. Shakul Kara, everyone took the pumpkins, and no one paid him or anything. So he got upset, and Omalu, he told them, all these pumpkins are Kodesh, and therefore you can't use them. Also the Kemedi of Kana, this case came in front of Kana, Omalu, he told them a similar psak like we had before. Since they took it already, it's not his anymore. And says the Gemara the same, there was a fixed price for the pumpkins. If he didn't have a fixed price, he was magdish it in his own rishus, and therefore the seller, it's still his because there's no fixed price, so therefore the sale hasn't been because they didn't agree on a price, and therefore v'shaper agdish and all these pumpkins are kadosh. Ton Rabbanon learned that someone takes a vegetable from the market, he's taking the good ones, he's looking through the stock. Even if he's doing this a whole day, he's not kono because he was just checking which ones he wants to buy. And it's not chayv b'maisa like normally when you buy from the shuk, they chayv b'maisa midirabbanon. So if he decided in his heart, I want to buy this, who I put aside, kono, now he's kono, and he's chayv b'maisa, now he's chayv b'maisa, says the Brisa, so what should he do? If he doesn't want to buy it and give it back to the owner, he can't, because once it becomes a chover has to give maisa, he can't leave, it became his, and he was machlet to buy. Shekvar is chayv b'maisa, it's chayv b'maisa, la'asro, to be maiser it, you can't. Shekvar mafchis midemem, if you maiser, you take a percentage off, you won't be able to give back the seller the full amount that you took. Hoketzat, what should you do? Maasro, you should give maestros. V'noisanid me maisa, give back what's not maisa, and what he took off maisa, he has to pay him for it. On this, the Gemara asks, Otu mishum de goma belibo liknois, because he decided to buy kono, that makes a kinyan. When he's chai b'maisa, it makes no sense. What kinyan did he do? Omer of Oishia oche b'yorei hashamayim askinan. The Brisa is talking about the yorei shamayim. Ki going like example of Safra. The kiyim benafshi, he was mekayim on himself. V'doiver emes bilvovoi. Wherever the truth in his heart was, that was the truth also outside. And one time he was saying Kriya Shema, and someone came and asked him, can I buy you something off you, let's say your house for $1 million, and he was keeping on said Kriya Shema, he didn't answer him, so the guy thought he doesn't not happy with the price, he said 2 million. And he kept not answering him, and he offered him a big amount, and then he finished Kriya Shema. I told him, yeah, I'll sell it to you for $1 million, because that was the price I was willing to sell it to you. So such a person wants Gomer Beliba Liknois, he's Mischayim now b'maisa, and he has to do to meiser it and give back the fruit, and the yerek that's meiser, he has to pay money for it. Said the Mishnah, Asito, in someone who buys a lot in big amounts, Mekaneach Midoisov, he has to wash off his measurement vessels, Achat l'shloishim yom, 130 days. Balabais, Achash l'snei mashal chodesh. Balabais, who does much less measurement, much less gets stuck, and therefore he has to do it only once in 12 months to clean. Rabban Shimon Gamliel Oimer, Chiluf Advarim, the opposite, the Sitoim that's always doing it, and he has to does it once in 12 months, and also because he has to give 3 tipim. And Balabais who doesn't give, the Balabais who doesn't do it a lot, so it gets stuck more, therefore he has to do it once a month. Chenvoni is a shopkeeper. Mikaneach midoisav pamayim b'Shabbos, twice in Shabbos, because we said the Chenvoni doesn't need to give the last 3 drops. I said it before, but I meant really about Chenvoni, and therefore a lot more gets stuck. So therefore twice a week he needs to wash it out. And when his measurements, he has to once a week also clean, wash off. Al kol mishkol mishkol, and every time when he puts something in the weight, one there is the measurements, and the other one the rice or honey or whatever it is, and we're going to see in it some liquids. You have to clean it every time you put in something in. Every mekaneach muznaim, the muznaim itself, al kol mishkol mishkol. Omer Reb Shimon Gamliel b'med v'orim amurim. When did we say all this? Belach, when it's wet and it gets stuck. Aval biyovesh, when it's something dry, you don't need, because nothing gets stuck on the weights or on the scale. Says a Mishnah that when you weigh someone a weight, so really when it's the same weight, you want to weigh a kilo. You have a stone of a kilo here, and you have here rice or liquids of a kilo over here. So once it's the same height, we know it's the same weight. Says a Mishnah that once it's the same weight, you still have to give a tefach higher of the produce you're selling. That means you should get a tefach distance between this, where the rice is or the liquid is, to where the stone is. And we're going to see in the Gemara why. Says the Mishnah, so if the minig was like that, that's what you need to do. Continue the Mishnah. If he was doing eye to eye, that means he put the weight the same height. If the minig was the same height and not higher, like we said, he has to add him extra. A tenth in something liquid, and a tenth, and 1 in 20 biyovish if it's something dry. Says the Mishnah, since we said that you need to give every time a tefach extra, so if the minig is to measure small amounts, you can't measure big amounts, because if you measure, let's say you have the minig is to measure a kilo at a time, dako, and he wants to buy 20. So if I'm going to measure him 20 at a time, and only one time I'm going to make the difference of the tefach between the 2 weights, so he's going to gain less, the buyer. He prefers every tefach to weigh and to have every kilo and then have a tefach between the weights, a tefach height. So that's what the Mishnah says. Mokom shenagu lo yomod badako lo yomod bagaso. And then the opposite, bagaso lo yomod badako, because then the seller loses. He gives many times this extra tefach. Lim choik, if when the measurement you rub it off, lo yigdosh, you shouldn't put a pile. Ligdosh, if the minig is to make a pile, lo yim choik, you shouldn't rub off and make it flat. And the Gemara is going to explain that he's offering extra money about it. We'll see about it. Says the Gemara, where do we know this? You have to give a tefach extra to a person when you're weighing him his weights. Omar Shlokish Domar Kro, it's in the Pasuk, Even Shleimo v'tzedek, a full stone and righteousness. So tzedek mishlcho v'tenlo, give him a little extra. Said the Gemara, if it's a Pasuk from the Deraisa, it's a chi of Deraisa to give extra. Ema Seifa, look in the Seifa of the Mishnah, if he was giving without the extra tefach, he only has to give a little bit more. If this extra tefach is a din deraisa, how could he do both weights the same mishkol? It has to be a tefach more. Says the Gemara, really the ratio, the minig in this place was to give extra tefach, so you need to give extra tefach. When did the Rish Lakish say this extra din deraisa to give a little extra? A seifa itma, we learned in the seifa, if he was measuring exact, he has to give him a little bit more, like we learned. How much is this little extra that you need to give? Omar Rav Abba B'Mermel, Omar Rav, Echod me'asor belitra belach la'asor litrin. So it's not like we learned in the Mishnah, we explained 1 in a tenth, it's 1 in 100. 1 in a liter for 10 liters. And it's meduik from the Mishnah, from the Lashon Mishnah, that the Mishnah said it in a short way, but really it's a tenth of a tenth, and that's 1 in 100 when it comes to lach. But in Yovesh, we're going to see we have a suffix about it. And this Gemara asks, Echod la'asor belach ve'echod la'asor b'Yovesh. We said a tenth, and we just explained that it means 100 for wet. And by Yovesh it said 120. Iboilu, we have a shaila. Echikoma, Echod me'asor belach Lasor delach, that means 1 in a liter, let's say for 10 liters, that's 100. Ve'echod me'esron b'yovesh le'esron b'yovesh, on 1 in 20 for 20 amount, 1 in 20 for 20 times that amount. Or maybe echod ma'asor la'asor belach. By lach, it means 1 in 100. But by yovesh a 20th, no 1 in 100. So the Gemara teiku tishbi taretz kushis ve'boyas. Alevai Elio will come very fast. Omar Rav Levi, kosher oinchim shel midah is someone who lies about measurements. It's worse, the punishment. Yosim oinchim shel arayis, more who's someone who does isa arayis. Shevenem abraham el. By arayis it says the words alef lamed. Vezenem abraham, and by midas it says eile with a hey. So the extra hey shows it's more it's worse. Said the Gemara, my mashma da el koshehu. How do we know that the lashon el, it says eile? How do we know that means bad? Because it says this eile or it's lokach, the strong people from the land he took, so we could see it's something strong and something bad. Gabe arayis frek the Gemara nami aksiv eile. It says also by arayis eile with a hey. So why are you saying that midas are worse? So the Gemara ulemute midos mikores. That eile that it says by Aryeh, it's coming to say that dafka by Aryeh you get chorus, but midos, even though that's chomo, you don't get chorus. Ve'elo mayut fayu. So the Gemara, if Aryeh you get chorus, midos you don't get chorus, what's worse about midos from Aryeh? So the Gemara, the also efshar b'tshuva Aryeh, it's a very ben odom lamokoin, so you could do tshuva and you're all good. Hocha by midas lo efshar b'tshuva. You have a shop, you sell to hundreds, thousands of people. You want to do tshuva. How are you going to find all the people you stole from? So therefore, it's worse. You can't properly do tshuva because benodon lechaver, you first have to do tshuva to that person and pay him back. And here you can't pay him back. V'amar Rab Levi as well said, kosher gezel edyot. It's worse stealing from a normal person. Yosem gezel govea more if you steal from the Beis Hamikdash. Shevei iktim chet lemeila. By person, it says first chet and then meila. Meila means like type of using it. Your moyel, you used it. Straight away you took it, even you never used the item. You're already a choita. And only afterwards meila, but by govoya ikti meila mechet. First it says only after you moil and you use the item, only then you over a chet. We could see it's easier to do a chet by hedyet than govoya. Come and see the difference between Hashem and a person. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Yisrael be'esrim v'shtayim v'kilelim b'shmoino. There's 2 times the klolos of brachas, and it says once Hashem says it Klal and once Moshe. So when it's Hashem, the brachas were 22 and the klolos were 8. B'shmoina bircham be'esrim v'shtayim, where that mean b'chukoisai ed koimi mius at the brachas v'kilelim b'shmoina only in 8. Mivim chukoisai timosu v'ad chukoisai gola nafshechem. V'elu Moshe Rabbeinu, when it comes to Parshas Dvarim, bircham b'shmoina. When Chesed Dvarim, he gave him 8 brachas. V'kidam be'esrim v'shtayim bircham b'shmoina. Where do we see this? Peites Samad Aleph mivo'oyo im shomoya v'ad le'ovdom. So that's 8, only 8 brachas. And v'kidam be'esrim v'shtayim mivo'oyo im shomoya ad ve'en koine, much more close. So we could see when a person curses, he gives more curses and less brachas. Hashem gives more brachas and less curses. Thank you very much. All best regards from Malana.